When I drive a manual car, to get going, I may blip the throttle before lifting the clutch. Often, I don't even realise I'm doing it, but sometimes people notice and ask me why. So in this video, I'm going to explain. So what is blipping the throttle? Well, the throttle pedal, also known as the accelerator pedal or the gas pedal, is this pedal here, and it controls how much power your engine develops and how high your revs are. To get a car moving quickly, usually you need to press the pedal enough that you have around about 2000 RPM of revs. Yes, you can move many cars without pressing the pedal at all, but it's going to be slow. In some cars, you're likely to stall or bog down. More on bogging down later. So here is the problem. I want 2000 revs now so I can move quickly now. Well, I'll press the throttle pedal and get the revs to 2000. But that took time. That's hardly now. What can I do? Well, I'll press the pedal harder to make the revs rise more quickly. Let's try that. Well, yes, the revs certainly rose more quickly, but now I have so many revs that I'm probably going to burn my clutch out. What I tend to do is blip the throttle hard to make the revs rise quickly, and then hold the pedal gently to hold the revs there, like this. See? So I've got the revs quickly up to 2000, and now I'm ready to go immediately without burning my clutch. Now I'm going to put it into practice. So I'm in gear, the handbrake off, ready to go. And when I go, I want to go immediately, like that. I'll blip the throttle and I'll be off. So, no one coming. So very little delay there in getting the car rolling. As soon as I wanted to go, I hammered down on the gas and then I started moving. Not much delay. So the throttle blip start is more about starting earlier than it is about accelerating quickly. You can use it to help you accelerate quickly, but it certainly allows you to get the car going when you need to on the spur of the moment. This time I'm actually going to do a fast start using the throttle blip. So no one coming, I'm ready to go. Let's check again, and this time I'll just use more gas, and you see, got the car up to 33 miles an hour in no time at all. I woke the engine up, got it rolling, and then gave loads of power to accelerate quickly. Throttle blip starts help me move the car immediately. I can accelerate slowly or quickly and everything in between, but I get going now, straight away, without delay. Also, it helps me accelerate a car quickly without burning the clutch, because if I want to get going quickly, I'm going to press the throttle pedal harder, which means I'm more likely to give too many revs, which will overheat the clutch. If I blip the throttle, it's easier to get the revs up, but not make them too high. It also helps me in a car with a difficult throttle pedal. Some throttle pedals, you press them a little bit and not a lot happens. You press them a bit more and suddenly the revs fly up. If I blip the throttle, I can get the revs up, but without making them too high. And then I can bring the clutch up to the bite point and then add more power with the throttle pedal. It's easier to control the throttle when the clutch is up, because it's having to push against the weight of the car. When the clutch is down, the engine can just spin freely, there's nothing holding it back, and therefore the throttle pedal is quite sensitive. I'm now going to compare a smooth throttle blip start, where I accelerate smoothly and get pushed back in my seat until the gear change, with bogging down. Bogging down is when you don't press the throttle pedal enough, so you start accelerating, but then you lurch forwards, and then you accelerate again. Watch this. This will show you how smooth I am. When it goes back, I'm accelerating. When it jolts forwards, I've either bogged down or changed gear. When I do a good start, that will stay back until the gear change and won't start moving around. So that's still, no one coming, throttle blip start. And you see it's back, it's staying back, and then it flies forwards as I change gear, and there is obviously a lack of power as I change gear. It wasn't perfectly smooth. It did sort of come back a little bit, then come back more as I accelerated harder, and that's normal. Usually the start of the acceleration is a bit softer than when you actually get going and can really put the power down. This time I'm going to bog down, and this is going to go back, fly forward straight away, and then come back again. I'm not going to give enough power, but try to move quickly. No one coming. Now you see how that happened there? It came back, went forwards, and come back again. I'll demonstrate the throttle blip start one more time so you can see how much more smooth that is from the start. So hold that steady, ready. So it's back, it's back, it's back, it's back, it's back. That was a good one. So that was very smooth and it didn't jolt forwards until the gear change. It's hard to prevent it jolting forwards during the gear change because you do have to cut power when you change gear. But you can smooth that out as well by reducing the power before you change gear. I'll show you that too. It will go forwards because there will be a drop in power as I change gear, but it will go forwards gently instead of harsh. So hopefully I can get another good start. Throttle blip start, it's going back, it's going back, it's going back. Now reduce the power gradually and then change gears. So it didn't fly forwards, it went back and then went forwards. It's moving around a bit because, well, it is on a long chain and it is a bit bumpy, so it's not going to be perfectly still. See, I'm not accelerating now. I hold it still, let go, and it will start moving a bit, particularly if I accelerate and then stop accelerating. And then when I brake, it goes forwards. I'm now going to compare a throttle blip start with a normal start. The start I would normally do if I'm not trying to move immediately, or the way I would teach a learner to drive, because throttle blip starts are a lot harder and more for experienced drivers. First one I'm going to do is going to be a normal start. Then I'll do the quicker throttle blip start. There's not going to be a huge difference in terms of numbers if you were to time it, but it does feel a lot better from the driver's point of view because you get going when you want to. You don't have to wait for the engine. So normal start to begin with. I'm ready to go. Look round, get the revs up, and then get going. So there's a bit of a delay there. I hear the engine rise and then I lift the clutch to get going. Usually I say to my pupils, hear it before you use it. And what I mean by that is hear the engine before you lift the clutch. That way you're less likely to stall or bog down. This time I'll do another throttle blip start and you'll see the difference in speed. So I'm ready to go, no one coming, and it just feels like I get going straight away. That is why I do it sometimes. I can also blip the throttle to help with hill starts. So I'm on a hill now. Let's say I'm in gear, my foot on the brake, the handbrake's off, and I don't want to do a handbrake start and the car doesn't have hill hold assist. This car does have hill hold assist, but let's say it doesn't. I can blip the throttle with the side of my foot to get the revs up, and then I can quickly go to the gas pedal and lift the clutch to get going without rolling back. I'll show you that now. So no one's coming, quick blip of the throttle, gas and lift clutch, and I go without rolling back at all there. Now, that's actually a very difficult way of doing a hill start if you're starting out. But if you get good at that method and you practice it, for me at least, it's the easiest, quickest way to get going on a hill with less faff. But if you haven't practiced it and you're new to driving, I would stick to the handbrake start method first and then maybe try that as you get more experienced. Blipping the throttle doesn't help me much in this car though. I mean, it helps me when I'm going up and down the gears, more so than most cars, but it doesn't help me when I'm trying to get the thing started. This is my Mazda MX5, and I'll explain why this has many advantages for fast starts over my learner Seat Leon later. But firstly, I'm going to show you how I get this thing going. I'm going to use the head cam so that you can see the dials and out the window. I haven't found a way to mount a camera here well for the dials yet, and I'll put the pedals somewhere on screen. But in this car, all I need to do, if I'm in gear with the handbrake off, is press the gas and go. The engine is so responsive, I don't need to blip the throttle. So no one coming. If I want to get going, I just press the gas and lift the clutch and it moves immediately. It makes the car very enjoyable to drive. And it's got so much grip that if I want to, I can just go full throttle from the start and launch it without having to worry about wheel spin or burning the clutch. So again, no one coming, full throttle, and oh, that was a mistake. Do you know why? Guess what? I left it in second gear, so I wondered why there wasn't power there for a moment. I'll put it in first gear. Let's try that again. So no one coming, full throttle, lift the clutch up, and we're away. And there's a little bird in the road. I don't know if you can see that. I'll just slow down just there. So why is it so much easier to get this car going than my Leon? Well, for a start, it has a 2-litre petrol engine without a turbo. The Leon has a 1.4 litre petrol engine with a turbo. This car does not rely on a turbo to get its power. So when I press the throttle pedal, the power is there straight away. But in the Leon, I press the throttle pedal, there's a delay, the turbo spools up, and then suddenly there's loads of power, making it harder to control. Also, this car develops its power higher up in the rev range, so it's easier to get going without wheel spinning. This car is rear wheel drive. So when you accelerate hard, the rear wheels get pushed into the ground, generating more grip. My Leon is front wheel drive. So when you accelerate hard, the front lifts up, meaning there's less weight over the front wheels and you're more likely to wheel spin. This car has a limited slip differential, an LSD. And the best way I can explain that is if you don't have an LSD, it's like trying to push the car with one foot. You're more likely to slip. You have less traction. But with an LSD, if one wheel starts to slip, it locks both of them together so that one can't spin. So it's like pushing the car with both feet. You get a lot more grip. Another reason why this car is easier to launch is because it's lighter. And if you've ever pushed a heavy shopping trolley, you know it takes a lot more force than if you're pushing an empty one. So just for fun, one more full throttle start in the MX5. First gear, handbrake off, safe to do a launch, full throttle, and we go! Up to the red line. And there's your speed limit, 60 miles per hour. And in case you were wondering what this black thing was on the last run, well, it's just a piece of rubber that fell off my camera mount, but I can't reach it. I didn't notice it until after the run. Hang on, I've got feet. Aha, you see? Well, not so easy actually. Ah, there we go, got it. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for car insurance, check out the links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy, which takes away a big stress from the owner of the car that you're using to learn to drive in. Via the link, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out confused.com. You fill out one quote form, get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like to see how much it costs to insure different cars, which is a useful tool if you're shopping around for cars and you want to know how much it costs to insure them. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.